Hey guys, welcome to today's episode. And we have Nicole Burgner back. And you guys loved her so much that you were like, we've got to get her back. We didn't have long enough to talk with her. So Nicole, welcome back.
Thank you, Chantel. Glad to be back.
Well, first thing I didn't ask you last time you were on the show is, what does the day and life of Nicole Burgner look like? So what are you eating? What are you doing for workout? What do you do for supplements? Kind of what does it look like to be Nicole?
Okay, so typically I'm a morning person, so I get up at 5. And that gives me a little bit of time just to breathe, be in the Word, and have a little bit of time before my baby wakes up. She's almost 2 years old. So, yeah, I don't eat until 7, but before that time, so, okay, let me rewind. I am currently on thyroid, natural thyroid medication, and I'm actually weaning off of it. And that's been a lovely process. So actually, truly a lovely process. So I take that in the morning. I drink water first thing in the morning. I find that we are dehydrated throughout the night. So 1 to 2 glasses of water, I add some lemon. I have that just alongside my bed. That is the first thing I do in the morning. And then get up and do everything that I told you. About an hour after that, I do take iodine. So that is a protocol and working my way up to a high dose iodine. So I take that in between my thyroid medication and breakfast. So sometimes, just depending on how I feel, I do drink celery juice, freshly make it, or I'll do a batch prep. So 3 to 4 servings. If I need to, I'll freeze them and then I'll thaw it. The next morning I'll have it. Just to help with some mild detox. It gives me energy, to kind of set me on for the day. And then breakfast. I love sweets. However, I don't love our standard American diet, and I don't love how it makes us feel and what it does to the body. So I'm one who will make paleo cinnamon rolls. I actually just made a batch yesterday. I love a lot of fruit, maybe a, coconut yogurt with no sugar. So I try to do a high protein, like almond flour, I said coconut yogurt, maybe nuts and seeds with fruit breakfast. A little bit of coffee for the caffeine, and I add a mushroom powder, collagen, monk fruit, make it taste good.
So you're going to have to tell us how you make those paleo cinnamon rolls. Now, you used to do intermittent fasting before you got pregnant, and now with breastfeeding, and now you're pregnant again, right?
Yes. So
congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, we're really excited. If I could insert this real quick, actually, when I was really sick, at Lyme disease, mold, parasites, heavy metals, the whole 9 yards, we couldn't get pregnant for 6 years. And it was because I got off of birth control, things went awry, things stirred up, couldn't get pregnant for 6 years. So we finally had our baby girl, who was going to be 2 in April. And then a few months after I weaned her, we got pregnant. So the body's back in a state of health and it's able to do what it's supposed to do. So that's been such a blessing. Been great.
Wow. Now, I want you to talk a little bit about what made you decide to get off thyroid medicine as well, because I will tell you, I'm on a natural, desiccated, compounded thyroid, and every time I went to the doctor, my thyroid was getting worse and worse and worse. And so they were upping it and upping it and upping it. And finally, I decided that I was like, this is ridiculous. I'm not going to just keep going up and up and up and up. So I finally decided to start taking iodine as well. And the iodine has been helping me with my thyroid. And I'm actually titrating down myself. And I'm eating myself. I've decided I'm going to heal myself and get myself completely off of thyroid medicine as well, even though it's natural, desiccated, compound, blah, blah, all that. That's the only thing I take. But I'm like, I'm going to get myself to not take anything. Now, and the other piece is with the paleo diet, I feel like your thyroid works on overdrive when you truly are taking a paleo diet. Is that what you try to, or do you pretty much eat a paleo diet right now?
So I used to do strict paleo. I went down to 10 foods a day for 8 months at one point. Well, at 8 months of a point. Didn't help me trying to figure out, right, like what's the problem? What are the problem foods? So now fast forward, because of all that restriction in my past, I give myself that 20%. So if I want a little bit of dairy, if I want some grains, I do try to get organic, everything in moderation. And I do add legumes. So I guess it would be, is it Westminster Price, I think is his name. Do you know that diet?
Yes, I do.
Or yeah, paleo, beans, maybe soaked and sprouted if you have the time, raw, fermented, organic dairy. So that's more of what my diet is. It's more like his.
I don't know about you guys, but I am stressed. And if you're feeling overwhelmed this holiday season, then I get it. With all the family get togethers, it is just a relentless source of stress. But anyway, there is something that I've got called Stress Guardian, and it's actually made by Bioptimizers, the people who make the magnesium breakthrough, which I love, love, love. But anyway, they are literally made this new product. It has 14 adaptogenic herbs, and it just regulates your stress. I just actually took some right this second, and it's awesome. If you go to stressguardian.com/wasteaway and put in waste away for 10% off your first order, it's stressguardian.com/wasteaway. Go there now. Yeah. And I agree with that too. I feel like that is a really good diet. So tell me, what made you decide that you wanted to get off your thyroid medicine, and what are you doing to kind of titrate down so that it's a healthy way?
Great question. So a few things. I have to make an appointment every time I need a refill once those refills run out. So I'm dependent upon my doctor just for the prescription. That's not how it should be. I have to pay for my prescription. We actually do it's called Samaritan Ministries. It's out of pocket shares. They don't cover prescriptions. So it's a cost, and it's an expensive cost every month, and it's going up. I don't know if you're experiencing this. So part of it is cost and time. Also, I don't want to be dependent upon pharmaceuticals. If I am, even if it's natural and desiccated, it's still a pill. It's still a compounded, even if it might be pill that I have to take every day. So those are most of the crux of why I'm trying to go down. I'm in my 30s. I believe that my body is able to do what it's supposed to do when you reach menopausal time. I'm not sure. That's not my expertise. So that's a different story. But those are my whys. What I'm doing, first of all, being more mindful about what I put in my body. If I'm eating sugar, a lot of processed foods and junk, all of the bad foods, my body's not going to be in a healthy state. Also, taking the right supplements. So for your thyroid to be healthy, you need proper selenium, magnesium, vitamin D, copper and iodine, I find are critical for trying to titrate off of your medication, just like you, Chantel. I've done years of healing my body, but until I started the iodine and copper protocol, I did not see my body change where I actually needed to go down my thyroid medication. And this is while pregnant. So that some people might get a red flag, like, oh my goodness, I can't believe there are high dose protocols while you're pregnant. For me, yes, it's safe, and my body's doing really well, and I don't have it. But yeah, that's the gist of it. What questions might you have about that?
Yes. So with the iodine and with the copper, talk about how you kind of titrated up on that, as far as starting out with a little bit of copper and then moving up to get yourself to a higher dose.
Yeah. So with iodine, now for those who are health gurus, you do your research. You may see people talk about high dose iodine, start at 50 milligrams. Do not do that. I don't care what they say. I don't believe that is good for the body. I believe that you can push out a lot of other halogens like fluoride, chlorine, bromide. push out maybe parasites. Heavy detox where you will feel horrible, could land yourself in the hospital. Do not do that, please. Okay. You just have to say that. High dose protocols start small and you build yourself up. So with iodine, I literally started with 1 drop, and I do Nicoles iodine. It's a 2% solution. But the goal was to get to at least 12.5 milligrams. So add a drop. I waited for every 2 weeks, I added just to see how I felt. And if I needed more time where I was detoxing, and that would be extreme fatigue, or maybe, I don't know, maybe diarrhea, maybe constipation. It's different for everyone. Maybe anxiety. I would hold off, give myself a little bit more time. Now I've done a lot of detox, so my body actually did pretty well, but I got to a point where I could only do 5 drops. And if I exceeded that, I had anxiety. What happened? My thyroid medication was too high. So I bumped that down, kept going up. And then I ended up with severe fatigue. So here's what I did. I found the copper protocol. The copper is actually needed to help increase your iodine. And so that's one of the things that's missing. So with copper, you actually, what I've seen is you start with 5 milligrams, and that's of copper glycinate or copper sulfate. The beauty of this is you can make your own copper sulfate, and it is pennies. So you start with 5 milligrams. If you start too low, you can actually feel worse. So that's the surprise there for copper. But you build yourself up. So for me, I started at 5, gave myself about 3 weeks. 2 weeks. I felt I was fine to move up, went to 10 milligrams, stayed there for a month. I just added 2 milligrams yesterday, and I feel great. My energy's increased. My mood is more stable. Even if things are chaotic and crazy around me, I feel calm. Digestion is definitely improved. I'm hoping, as you guys know, a lot of health gurus that you follow still have these things that they're trying to fix, trying to adjust. And I had that, some areas that still need some improvement and healing, but you can only do so much, when you're pregnant and when you're nursing. So it's been a little bit of a stretch. So that's where I'm at. Yeah.
Yeah. I use upgraded formulas for my copper and my iodine. If you guys go to chantelrayway.com/copper or chantelrayway.com/iodine, I have a huge discount code there. And to me, that copper and that iodine makes me feel my best. But I really believe like those 2 pieces, it's what going to make it where I don't have to take thyroid medicine anymore. Those 2 pieces. And just overall with my health, we just had a guy named Morley Robbins on the show. Again, he's been on like 3 or 4 times talking about copper. And just so you guys know, every single time I would take my blood work, and I eat grass-fed beef and all kinds of meat and all kinds of things that have a lot of iron. And I take my favorite liver supplement is through heartandsoil.co, and you can use the coupon code Chantel Ray for a major discount. But that liver supplement is the best, and still my iron levels were low, my ferritin was low. Once I started adding, and the liver supplements helped, but until I added the copper, all of a sudden, my iron levels, and Morley was like, I'll tell you, if you add the copper, your iron levels will all become in balance. And as soon as I did, the doctor wanted to put me on iron infusion. He said, Chantel, I'm not joking. If you go look in my lab, he said, I'm giving you an iron infusion. You're going to go to the doctor, and I want him to do an iron infusion. And I said, I'm not doing it. And so that's when I started saying, okay, let me add this copper in. And the copper is the only thing, along with that liver supplement, the combination of the 2, that got my iron levels to where they needed to be.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. If I could insert,
yeah,
well, just real quick, There are cofactors when you guys do the iodine and the copper protocol. So please don't just like do your research or reach out to us and ask questions. But the main ones I'm going to say here for now are zinc and vitamin C and even a form of potassium when you're doing the copper protocol, especially. So just know that you need cofactors, and these are just nutrients. They're just nutrients that the body requires that we're not getting in our food supply.
Did you guys know that your thyroid's main food is iodine? And guess what? Mercury gobbles up your selenium, and your thyroid glands need selenium to convert iodine into thyroxine. So here's the bottom line. I take this Peak Thyroid. It's got selenium, it's got iodine, it's got zinc, it's got copper, and it's got selenium. Everything you need to get your thyroid back to functioning without medicine. Go to chantelrayway.com/upgraded formulas. Use the code ChantelRay to get your huge discount. So talk about that, because I know certain people have, I don't know if you've seen different people that have where they say, okay, I'm going to add in this much vitamin C, this much zinc. Talk about that. Like, some people do it like 3 times a day. Maybe they do one at 11 o'clock, one at 3 o'clock, and one at 7 o'clock. Do you do that, that protocol that they talk about in the book?
No, not that one. So usually what I try to do is copper in the morning, vitamin C in the afternoon, and then zinc at night. Zinc can help you with sleep. I just find copper is good to set your day. And then vitamin C is in between. You don't want to take them all at once. And then the potassium iodide, or potassium chloride. Again, it depends on which one you take. I take the chloride. You can sprinkle that in throughout the day in water, or you can have specific times to take it. I'll take it in the morning. I'll take it in the afternoon. And I'll take it at night. But my body has a different requirement over other people. So just know that.
Yeah, I 100% believe that most people are potassium deficient as well. That, for me, I know that if I eat like a sweet potato, or if I eat avocado or anything that's really high in potassium, I really am like a new person. It's funny because I also drink a lot of like fresh coconut water. If I'm feeling any kind of way, my staff will be like, we used to have a Whole Foods right across the street. They would literally they could kind of see me like this, and I was kind of like in a slump. And all of a sudden, one of my staff would come up and they'd be like, I got you a fresh coconut, Young Living coconut. I'd be like, oh my gosh. Because I would literally drink that coconut and I would become like peppy and fun and happy. And I really believe that I am massively potassium deficient. They say that you need 4,300 milligrams of potassium in your diet. If you try to break that down, that is very difficult to get 4,300 milligrams of potassium.
Yes. Great point. Thank you for adding that in. Again, our diets are not as nutrient dense as they need to be. And a lot of us aren't eating the perfect diet, as perfect as it could be. So supplementation, I just find, is important.
So you call yourself the gut detox coach. And what got you so passionate about the gut and really detoxing the gut? Was it something that happened with you and you just got passionate about that, and then that made you want to help other people do the same thing?
Yeah. So I mentioned a little bit earlier on, this was 8 years ago, and I got off of oral birth control. I was on it because the doctor said if I wanted regular cycles and I wanted children in the future, which is so wrong, I needed to go on birth control, and there was no option. Okay. So got off of that after being on it for 3 years, and I was chronically constipated where I could not go without an enema. Like nothing worked for 5 days. And so that I had all these other symptoms, fatigue. They got a lot worse where eventually I ended up with adrenal fatigue. Went to a variety of different doctors. They did not have the answers for me, even tried alternative. Went to a natural hormone specialist, and I was 24 at the time. She said that I would need to be on 4 different hormone medication and would have to go back on birth control and should consider getting my colon removed if I still can't go to the bathroom regularly. True conversation I had with her. So I decided to start doing my own research. Now, I did find my team. Eventually, I found a functional medicine doctor. I found an alternative nutritionist and functional medicine practitioner. They worked together, and they did find some things. And my doctor found that I had Lyme disease, referred me to a Lyme specialist, and I actually didn't get better. But I ended up with Lyme, mold, parasites, candida, bacterial overgrowths, heavy metal toxicity on paper, and I think it said parasites. Not that everything showed up on paper. Like, parasites never showed up on my test, but I started addressing them and treating them myself, and the floodgates opened, and I had roundworm, liver flukes, and just a variety of worms come out. At least 30% is visible to the eye. 70% of parasites you actually can't see. So learning, going through this and learning, okay, these are problems, and then getting deeper. Why did this happen? Oh, nutritional deficiencies also. Okay, when I'm removing heavy metals, I need to make sure I'm giving my body what it needs. Also, limbic system rewiring. I don't know, you should get someone on your podcast if they're not already on, but rewiring your brain when you are in a state of chronic illness and you've done everything and you've truly addressed everything, and you still feel all those symptoms, sometimes the brain is actually wired to be sick. And this is just the way God made us. Our limbic system is misfiring in different ways. So doing all of this and finding that my body's becoming restored, I'm becoming a new Nicole and a better Nicole, because I was sick even when I was little. I want to share this with other people and let them know you have options. When you have these diagnoses, when you have these symptoms and you are suffering and you don't have answers, and doctors say, well, on paper, everything looks fine. There are answers. They don't know, they're not educated, or perhaps they don't care to educate themselves. Let Chantel, let the people on this podcast help you, because there are answers for you. So that's
well. Let's talk about constipation for just a second. I personally, I think it's funny because a lot of listeners bring questions in about constipation, and I think it's because I always talk about how constipated I am, and I am literally one of the most constipated people I know, and I've tried it all. What do you feel like helped you the most with your constipation?
I'd love to talk to you more about that. I'm like, are you more constipated than I've been?
That's it.
Okay, so first of all, simple things, guys. Wake up, drink water, drink warm water, warm lemon water to get things moving. Make sure your diet is honed in. Maybe dairy, maybe gluten, maybe there's a certain food that's triggering constipation. Eat more fiber, eat more paleo, or maybe more keto. Not one diet is meant for all people, so just know that. Maybe your body loves vegan with some animal products added in, but get the diet honed in, get the hydration, and get your body moving. So once you've done that and you're still struggling with constipation, that's when you want to go a level deeper. Lead can cause constipation, so it could be a heavy metal issue. You want to make sure you've got those out. Parasites, they can cause diarrhea, they can cause constipation. So again, address those. In terms of protocols, so your thyroid could be messed up, or maybe not. I find the copper and the iodine protocol can be very helpful to get your body moving again. There is a high dose, again, I mentioned this in the last podcast, high dose B1 protocol, and it helps with a lot of other ailments, but that can help get motility going. So thiamine, TTFD is the highest, most absorbable form of thiamine, but maybe benfotiamine works better for people. So there's the B1 protocol. These are the more long-term solutions. And I say long-term because you shouldn't, well, I can't say you shouldn't have to take magnesium every day. You shouldn't have to take a bowel moving magnesium. Magnesium glycinate, that's great. But magnesium citrate or Oxy Powder, are you familiar with Oxy Powder?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Those are ones that can help on the interim. If you are severely constipated, nothing seems to be working, you're trying to find the root, much better than doing a coffee enema or a lemon enema. Maybe you've never heard about those, but those are some of the key solutions to constipation. I know I just talked all over the map, but we have different people coming from different walks of constipation.
Did you guys know that 97% of Americans are deficient in at least one mineral? It's true. And you need more than a dozen different minerals for your body to function its best. And it's almost impossible with our new American diet to get all the minerals you need. So that's why I love bean minerals. And this is the thing. It literally tastes like water. So all I do is I take an ounce of each, I throw it in here, and I'm not joking, there's no taste. So without a whole cabinet full of supplements, I just go, boom, it tastes like water, and it makes mineral balance simple. Go to chantelrayway.com/bean and get your huge discount code today on Bean Minerals. So with the Oxy Powder, do you feel like that one really does help? And you don't feel like it, you don't get, how do you call, like, certain things that you take for constipation, if you keep taking it and keep taking it, and if you don't take it, then your body will
Dependent.
do it. Yeah, dependent.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying.
You become
So
dependent.
do you feel like that Oxy Powder doesn't make you dependent on it?
So that's where, so you've got two problems. Either I'm going to be constipated or I'm going to become dependent upon something. This can be fixed. Don't worry. Constipation is not good. You need to flush out toxins. You need to flush out, just what you're eating and everything. Bowel impaction is terrible. You don't want that. So make sure your bowels are moving. If this is the only thing that's working for you right now, I would say go for that and address the things I just talked about so that eventually you can titrate down. Now, one component that you might need to worry about or might need to address is the mind-gut connection. And what I mean by that is more vagal tone, more wiring your brain so that it remembers, I need to go to the bathroom. I need to poop after I eat this meal, because that's not something that we just think about. That is involuntary. And so once you address all of the physical needs and you're still constipated and you're like, I don't understand, then I would address the mental need. Now, copper and B1 can actually help with that. They can help with the vagus nerve. They can help with the nerve signaling, but that's how I would proceed with that.
I want you to re-talk a little bit so people can really understand about the different, the B1s and kind of some of what is the B vitamins that they need to be aware of. And when they're reading things, how do they know these are good vitamins versus ones they might want to stay away from?
So when we're talking about B vitamins, I always love a methylated B. Over 30% of the population has the MTHFR genetic mutation. So one of the big things is folic acid, which we find in our diet, sprayed on our grains. And when you're buying a lower quality supplement, they're made low quality. So they have fillers and they're not the bioavailable form. So a methylated B, if you're getting like a B complex, would be really good. I don't know if you offer any of those. But this is where you might just want to look at each individual B vitamin. Like I said, thiamine. So B1, TTFD is really good. You're not going to find that in any supplement because it is so high in absorption. You'd buy it separate. I buy my B vitamins separate because I'm doing high dose protocol, so I require high dose vitamin B. In the B1, B2, B3 forms, B5. Does that answer your question? It's not very specific because I couldn't give you exactly which B vitamins per, but don't do folic acid. For B12, avoid cyanocobalamin. That is made with cyanide. There's Adeno, there's methylcobalamin, and there's another one that I really like. But that's what I would, I guess, B1 and B6 and B12 at the top of my mind. That's where.
Yeah. So talk about the B12 that has cyanide in it.
I mean, cyanocobalamin is easy to make, and it is found in a lot of supplements. A lot of B12s that you might buy just cheaply off Amazon or head into Walmart, Walgreens, Target. You'll find it there. I'm not saying all of their supplements are, but they say it's just a little bit of cyanide. Yes, however, this is building up in the body, and even a small amount of cyanide is toxic to the body. So imagine adding that and having that accrue over time. There's just a lot of detriment that can happen, and more chronic conditions that can come about. So don't buy the least expensive one, because you're going to buy a lot of healthcare related costs in the future because your health is not optimal due to not investing in your health now. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So let's talk about parasites. And, when people hear about parasites, a lot of people are thinking, and literally, I had a doctor say to me, who's a friend of mine, he's like, we don't have parasites here in the United States. That's only in third world countries. So when I want you to talk about some of the symptoms when people are thinking, okay, do I have parasites? And like you said, even if you go to a doctor and get a stool test, 99% of the time they're wrong. They won't show it because the parasites get hidden. But I want you to talk about, how do you know what are the symptoms of someone who has parasites?
Yes. So real quick, in terms of if you have access to parasites, I believe in the first podcast I did mention some avenues through which you could get it. So just listen to that if you guys are wondering. But weight gain or weight loss, it just depends on what kind of parasites you have, and it depends on your genetics. Diarrhea or constipation, or a mix of both of the two. Also bloating, gut pain, food sensitivities, especially dairy. I find, I don't know, parasites love dairy. Allergies, and these could be seasonal allergies, skin issues like eczema, for instance, or acne. Also chronic fatigue, anxiety and depression, anemia. So people who have chronic iron issues, they need iron infusions, copper deficiency, also parasites. They love iron. Gallbladder issues. You can have parasites in your gallbladder. They turn into gallstones. Autoimmune issues, leaky gut, insomnia, nausea, nutritional deficiencies because they're eating up your food, teeth grinding at night. That's a fun and interesting one. Poor immunity, low blood sugar, even seizures. So there's a long list, and that's not exhaustive. There's more than that, but I'll leave you guys with that.
Yeah. So when someone comes to you and they say, okay, yes, I have all of those symptoms, those are some of the things that I need to do. How do you ensure that you are kind of titrating up and titrating down on some of the things, so that someone doesn't feel terrible when they're taking, whether it's wormwood or whatever supplements you suggest?
Great question. So when I work with my clients, I have a 24/7 policy for me. And what I mean by that is I will get back to you within 24 hours. I ask them, please tell me how you are feeling, because if I don't know if you're feeling normal, if you're feeling completely exhausted, completely out of it, or completely on top of the world, then I don't know how this protocol is working for you. So it's very symptomatic. I will start them with, low and slow, and check in every week. Okay, how are we doing? How are we feeling? Or if they need daily, how are we feeling? And then I'll incrementally add up. Now, if they are detoxing, where they're feeling a lot of fatigue, they're, maybe they've got a rash coming on, or whatever the symptoms might be, then we might need to add a little bit more of some binding. So that could be something like activated charcoal or zeolite, or there are some supplements out there that are a beautiful blend of binders. And so we might use those and just add them in throughout the day, make sure they're drinking their water, and do things simple. Celery juice, lemon water, with parsley and cilantro in their food. But foods can really help through the detox process in addition to the supplement.
Is there any of, a lot of people recommend, berberine or black walnut or clove or golden thread or gold thread or golden seal. Is there one in particular that you feel like most people do really well on, or is there anything that you're like, if you're looking at a parasite cleanse, you want to make sure it has A, B, or C?
Great question. So with parasites, you have the adults, you have the adolescents, and you have the eggs. You need to address each and every one of these. Not one thing is going to address each and every one of those things. So I love the three, I forget what they call them, but it's like what your grandmother used to use and great grandmother, but it's black walnut hull, wormwood, and clove. Clove addresses the eggs, also powerful antifungal, antibacterial, antioxidant. Wormwood will address the adolescent and some adults. And then the black walnut hull will address adults. So I really love those. But you do want to, whenever you're doing a parasite cleanse, you want to cycle things in and out, because wormwood long-term is just not good for the body. You want to make sure you're not killing your good gut bacteria. And parasites can get smart. They can get smart so that they know, oh, I'm going to avoid this. Here is a golden nugget for you, actually. We think, oh, I'm gonna take this trio of herbs, I'm gonna give it to my parasite and they're gonna die. Now, we know this takes time, but they're not gonna eat that. You're not gonna go fishing with just a hook and catch a fish. You need to bait the fish. Parasites are smart. They are stealth infections. You need to bait them. So this might be a little bit of sugar. This might be a little bit of dairy. And so when you do that with the herbs, I find that my clients have a much higher success rate than just the herbs.
Guys, I just want to interrupt for just a second, and I want you to hear Paul Saladino talk about why liver is so important. And if you don't like liver, we have another option for you.
Your ancestors were eating liver. And the reason that this sort of wisdom has been passed down is because liver is very nutritious. It's basically nature's multivitamin. If you look at the nutrients in meat, they're great. You've got zinc, you got B6, you got B12, you got some K2. But if you look at liver, it really complements what's in muscle meat. And there are many unique nutrients found in organs, specifically liver as a powerhouse of these, that are difficult to obtain outside of liver. Like meat and organs are like peanut butter and jelly. They just go together. They're supposed to be eaten together. The easiest way to eat liver is just to do it raw. If you don't want to eat liver raw, you can cook it. But the reason that I like to do it raw is because there are unique nutrients in liver that are probably somewhat degraded when you cook the liver.
This really is like the most nutrient-rich supplements that you can find, and they are amazing. I have tried them. I absolutely love them. So just go to heartandsoil.co, use the coupon code Chantel Ray, and save you some money there. I love that. I love that. And one of the things that you said, I want to talk about the drainage pathways, because like you said, if your drainage pathways are not able to detox, you could be feeling a lot worse. So any tips on helping people with their drainage pathways?
Yes. So 4 drainage pathways: peeing, pooping, sweating, moving your lymphatic system. So peeing, pretty simple. Drink more water, add lemon, maybe some apple cider vinegar. These can be more diuretic. Fruits can be more diuretic. Parsley, cilantro, raw vegetables, and more water can really help to flush out toxins. Juniper berries, you can actually eat these. You can buy them. You can find a supplement with that in it that can help with some kidney cleansing, so helping with peeing, and dandelion. So put those there. Constipation. Now, we've talked about some things, right? Oxy powder can help. Magnesium citrate, so like natural calm, that's an option. More fiber. Heather's tummy fiber, I'd mentioned in the last podcast, that's one thing that can help with regularity and bloating too, so that's nice. dried fruit can help if you have a normal body. Most people don't have a normal body. So that's where I like to add the magnesium. Celery juice in the morning. You can do that every day if your body likes it. 8 ounces at the minimum. And make sure it's organic celery. Coffee enemas. When I clients deep in detox, they may do a coffee enema once a day for the first month, just depending on where they're at with their health. Lemon enemas. And that also addresses parasites. So, some things overlap, which is good.
So talk about that. So with the coffee enemas, I am a big fan of coffee enemas. I actually make my husband do them for me because I can't do them myself. I know it sounds weird, but
Yep.
I think it's too hard to do it yourself because you can't see how much water and all of that. But when you say the lemon enema, explain how does that work?
So this I pulled from, oh goodness, I don't follow what he says. He's completely vegan, but even stricter vegan, but he does lemon enemas. Basically lemon juice, or you can take a whole organic lemon and cut some pieces off and blend that in a Vitamix and then, or juice it if you have a juicer, add it to water. I usually do 2 to 4 cups, but you want to start small because I will tell you, holding lemon juice with diluted in water and maybe even some of the citrus essential oils from the rind, it is potent. Your body does not want to hold on to that. So it can get at some biofilm, some mucoid plaque, parasite, candida. But I find that can be very cleansing. So yeah, I don't have a formula that I would have to get back to you on because, I would say just start with a tablespoon. If anyone's like, well, I really want to do this today, we're not comfortable water, not too hot, not too cold, and a tablespoon of lemon juice. And if you're like, wow, that really didn't do anything, okay, well then bump. And better yet, take a quarter of a lemon, like I said, blend the whole thing in a Vitamix. I have a nut bag, so I'll squeeze that out into the nut bag, add it to water, and then I'll use that. And I've used a whole lemon, and that is, again, potent. So that's how I would start that.
Love it. So what other tips do you have for people? If you had to look back on your health of kind of saying, because you had a lot of things going on. You had Lyme disease. First of all, how did you know that you had Lyme? What were some of the symptoms of Lyme disease?
So I did get tested by my Lyme doctor. It was a $500 test, and it was testing for the genes of the Lyme. It was not the Western blot blood test. That was negative for me. So that was a false negative. Chronic constipation and bloat, chronic fatigue, anxiety. I was sensitive, and this might be Lyme also, and limbic system dysfunction, but I was sensitive to lights. I was sensitive to sound. I was sensitive to smells. Extreme food sensitivities. I went down, like I said, to 10 foods for 8 months. Same 10 foods for 8 months. I lost a lot of weight. I'm already tall to begin with. I was hospitalized a few times because I was so sick. At one point, we had our chili cook-off at our church, and I drank a ton of water that morning, and I still ended up, I went to the bathroom, and I peed blood. There's a thing called gut translocation. So you have bacteria in your gut, bad bacteria, and it translocates or relocates to your bladder. And so I had a UTI that was severe, and it came on like that. I had no symptoms prior to. The hospital's across the street from our church. I was literally ambulanced across the street because I could not come to. So I was very sick, systemic fungal infections. And so those were some of my symptoms, passing out, all of those.
Wow.
And infertility, but yeah.
Well, I want you to tell listeners how they can find out more information about some of your different programs that you have coming up, anything that you have that they can kind of take advantage of.
Yeah, so you can find me on Instagram. You can find me on Facebook at The Gut Detox Coach. That is my handle. I do reels every day teaching about how to address these root causes. If you reach out to me through those platforms or email me at thegutdetoxcoach@gmail.com or go to thegutdetoxcoach.com into my contact, reach out to me and ask. I have a free 5-step strategy on the 5R process of overcoming IBS and chronic health issues. And I also have a free masterclass for you. So just really driving home why we have these issues and what to do about them. I do offer a 30-day gut reset, and that's to kind of start hitting the ground running, and then a 6-month whole body restorative where we address pretty much everything, because I feel it is important to have all of the tools in your toolkit for now and into the future for any health crises that come your way after this health crisis that you're probably in. So that would be reach out. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think one of the things is like God allows different things like this to happen to you. And, for the reason why I'm so passionate about health is because I've had so many health issues myself. And that's why we're so passionate about helping other people. And to me, if you're looking for a gut health coach, you want somebody who has been there, who's done it. They're not just, oh, ta-da, I'm a health coach. Like, you were so sick and now you understand all of the different things that you had to do to repair your gut. And I think that's what kind of makes you so special.
Thank you. Yeah, I can definitely empathize.
Yes, for sure. Well, you guys stay tuned. We've got another episode coming up in just a few. Bye-bye for now.